button. Double tap to select.
Hi guys, it's Jenna here. Welcome to Game World. We're gonna play a game called Ludo. I've played before on my own, and I'm okay at it. But I'm going to choose. This game has two modes, either 2-player or 4-player, and I'm gonna choose the 2-player. So
Egg but 2 play button. Choose game mode.
I'm gonna choose classic.
Class check toggle. Play.
Play.
Trying to find opponent. Please wait. Ellipsis. This will take a few seconds. Player joined. Your color is yellow. Players. Roll. 1. Your turn. Red's turn. 6.
Also, if you haven't yet,
Red
feel free
pawn
to
to board.
subscribe and share the channel.
4. Red pawn to 31. Your turn. 3. No moves. Red's turn.
Now this game
3.
consists of little color pieces
Red pawn to 34. Your turn.
that are called pawns. And
3. No. Red's turn.
so far I can't move mine yet,
3.
and red is winning.
Red pawn to 37. Your turn. 1. No moves. Red's turn.
And basically, you move these pawns up this
Red
ladder
pawn to 41.
to
Your
get
turn.
to the very top for each piece. And each piece
No
has
moves. Red's turn.
and this game has 4 pieces
6.
each for each player.
Red pawn to board.
You gotta move all of them up to the top
1.
in order to win.
Red pawn to 42. Your turn.
Although I did
4. No moves. Red's
see
turn.
someone win, I think with 3 pieces.
1.
I can't remember.
Red pawn to 43. Your turn. 3. No moves. Red's turn. 2. Red pawn to 45. Your turn. 4. No moves. Red's turn. 2. Red pawn to 47. Your turn. 5. No moves. Red's turn. 4. Red pawn to 51. Your turn. 2. No moves. Red's turn.
No, come on.
3.
Don't.
Red pawn to 2. Your turn. 5. No moves. Red's turn. 3. Red pawn to 5. Your turn. 5. No moves. Red's turn. 1. Red pawn to 6. Your turn. 3. No moves. Red's turn. 3. Red pawn to 9. Your turn. 2. No moves. Red's turn. 6. Red pawn to board.
Now 6 means you can move.
5.
You can put a piece on the board.
Red pawn to 14. Your
Or
turn.
move another piece.
No move.
2.
Red's turn.
Or move another piece to win faster.
2. Red pawn to 16. Your turn. 1. No moves. Red's
So
turn.
far I haven't moved any of my
2.
pieces.
Red pawn to 18. Your turn. 1. No moves. Red's turn. 3. Red pawn to 21. Your turn. 6. Select pawn. Red player. Guest
Okay,
underscore 77. 3 in base. Roll. 3. Your turn. Yellow pawn to 4. Red's turn.
Okay. My first piece is at 4
2.
pieces.
Red pawn to 23. Your turn. 6. Pawn 1. Pawn 2. Red player. Roll. Your turn. Select pawn to play.
What did I roll?
Rolled a 6. Swipe down to pawn 3 in. Red player. Guess 1 in base. Roll. 3. Select pawn to play. Red player. Guess your red's turn.
I got all 3 of my
6.
3 of 4 pieces on there.
Red pawn moves to goal stairway step 4. 1.
And then
Red pawn moves to goal stairway step 5. Your turn. 1 in base. Roll. 4. Select red player. Guest underscore red's turn. 3. Red pawn to 30. Your turn. Roll. Select pawn. Red player. Guessed under your red's turn. 3. Red pawn to 30. Your turn. Roll. 2. Select pawn to play.
So only pawns of the same
Your
color can
turn.
be on a number.
Pawn 1. Red player. Guessed on red's turn. 2. Red pawn to 32. Your turn. Roll. Button. 3. Select red player. Guess your red's turn. 2. Red pawn to 32. Your turn. 1 in base. Roll. Select pawn. Red player. Guessed underscores red's turn. 3. Red pawn to 35. Your turn. Roll. 1. Select pawn 1 on 20. Red player. Guess your red's turn. 5. Red pawn to 37. Your turn. Roll. 1. Select pawn to play. Pawn 1 on 27. Red player. Guessed on red's turn.
I'm on 28 now for the first move.
5. Red pawn to 42. Your turn. 1 in base. Roll. 6. Select pawn to pawn 4 in red player. Guessed underscore 77,000. Roll. Button. 1. Select pawn red player. Guessed on red's
I'm
turn.
29.
2. Red pawn to 44. Your turn. Roll. 6. Select pawn to play. Pawn 1. Red player.
So
Guessed underscore 77,191. Roll. Button. Select pawn to play. Pawn 1 on 35. Red player. Guessed on red's turn.
7. Okay, because
4.
I rolled a 6, I get to roll again.
Red pawn to 48. Your turn. Roll.
Move.
Select pawn 1 on 30. Red player. Guessed on red's turn. 1. Red pawn moves to goal.
Okay, they won
5.
the first goal.
Red pawn to 1. Your turn. Roll. 3. Select pawn. Red player. Guessed under red's turn. 4. Red pawn to 39. Your turn. Roll. 4. Select pawn 1 on 42. Red player. Gets your turn. Red's turn. 1.
46 I'm at.
Red pawn to 40. Your turn. Roll. 1. Select pawn. Red player. Guessed on red's turn. 4. Red pawn to 44. Your turn. Roll. Select pawn to play. Your turn. Roll to 4. Select pawn 1 on 47. Red player. Guessed underscore red's turn.
51.
3. Red pawn to 47. Your turn. Roll. 3. Select pawn 1 on 51. Red player. Guessed underscore red's turn. 3. Red pawn to 50. Your turn. Roll. 6. Select pawn to play. Pawn disabled. Your turn.
No, you can't move that unless, you know.
Red player. Guessed underscore 77,109. Roll. Button. 4. Select pawn to play. Pawn disabled.
It's too big. I just need a small number to reach the goal.
Pawn 2 on 7. Red player. Guessed underscore red's
11.
turn. 2. Red pawn to 52. Your turn. Roll. 6. Select pawn to play. Pawn 2. Red player. Guess your turn. Roll. 1. Select pawn to play. Pawn 1 3. Your turn. Pawn 2. Red player.
I
Guess
need a 3
red's
to get
turn.
it. I need 3 to get it up there.
3. Red pawn to 3. Your turn. Roll. 1. Select pawn to play. Pawn 2. Red player. Guess your red's turn. 5. Red pawn to 8. Your turn. Roll. 4. Select pawn to pawn. Red player. Guess your turn. Red's turn. 1. Red pawn to 9. Your turn. Roll. 2. Select pawn 2 on 23. Red player. Guessed under
5.
red's turn. 2. Red pawn to 11. Your turn. Roll. Select pawn to play. Pawn. Red player. Guest underscore
30.
red's turn. 6. Red pawn to board. 6. Red pawn to 17. 3 sixes in a row. Red's
If you get
turn
3
skip.
sixes, you can't go
Your
anywhere.
turn. Roll. Button. Select pawn. Red player. Guest underscore red's turn. 4. Red pawn to 21. Your turn. Roll. 4. Select pawn. Red player. Get your turn. Red's turn. 1. Red pawn to 22. Your turn. Roll. Select pawn. Red player. Get your turn. Red's turn. 1. Red pawn to 23. Your turn. Roll. Select pawn. Pawn 2 on 43. Red player. Guess your red's turn.
5.
1. Red pawn to 24. Your turn. Roll. 6. Select pawn to play. Your turn. Pawn 2 on 45. Red player. Guest underscore 70. Roll. 4. Select pawn 2 on 51. Your turn.
So
Yellow
up.
pawn moves to gold stairway step 4. Red's turn.
I'm at a 4.
1.
Goal steps.
Red pawn to 25. Your turn. Roll. 4. Select pawn to play. Pawn 1 3 away from goal. Pawn disabled. Pawn 3. Red player. Guest underscore red's turn. 6. Red pawn moves to goal.
I'm gonna lose.
1. Red pawn to 2. Your turn. Roll. 1. Select pawn to play. Pawn 2. Your turn. Pawn 1 3 away from. Pawn 2 2 away from goal. Pawn 3. Red player. Guest on red's turn. 2. Red pawn to 4. Your turn. Roll. 2. Select pawn to play. Pawn 1 3 away from goal. Pawn 2 2 away from red player. Guest underscore 77,000. Roll button.
I just got one.
Select pawn to pawn 3 red player. Guest underscore red's turn. 5. Red pawn to 9. Your turn. Roll. 2. Select pawn to play. Pawn 3. Your turn. Yellow pawn to 12. Red's turn. 6.
Oops, why'd I do that?
Red pawn to 15. 1. Red pawn to 16. Your turn. Roll. 4. Select pawn to play. Pawn 3. Your turn. Yellow pawn to 16. Kick red pawn on 16 off board. Roll. Your select pawn to play. Roll to 1. Select pawn to play. Pawn 1 3 away from pawn 3 on 16. Red player. Guest on red's turn.
And 17 for me.
1. Red pawn to 28. Your turn. Roll. Select pawn to play. Your turn. Pawn disabled. Pawn 3 on red player. Guest underscore 77. Roll button. Select pawn to play. Pawn 3 on red player. Kick red pawn on 28 off board. Roll. Select pawn to your turn. Pawn 3 on red player. Guest underscore 77,100. Roll button. Select pawn to your turn. Pawn 3 on red player. Guest underscore red's turn.
I just knocked them off twice.
5. Your turn. Roll.
Oh, then I moved.
Select pawn to pawn disable. Your pawn 3 on 38. Red player. Guest underscore 70. Roll. Select pawn to disable. Pawn red player. Guest underscore 77,100. Roll. 4. Select pawn to play. Your pawn disable. Pawn 4. Red player. Guest underscore red's turn. 2. Your turn. Roll. Button. Select pawn to play. Roll to 1. Swipe down to quickly. Pawn 1-3 away from goal. Can move. Yellow pawn moves to goal stairway step 4. Red's turn. 2. Your turn. Roll. 4. Select pawn to pawn 3 on 5. Your turn. Yellow pawn moves to goal stairway step 3. Red's turn. 4. Your turn. Roll. 3. Select pawn to play.
Oh, do it.
Pawn disabled. Pawn 3-3 away from goal. Red player. Guest underscore
There we go.
77. Roll. Button. 6. Yellow pawn to 11. Your turn. Select pawn to play. Pawn 1-2 away from goal. Red player. Guest. Your turn.
Yes, I'm winning.
Your turn. Roll. 4. Yellow pawn to 15. Red's turn. 4. Your turn. 3. Yellow pawn to 18. Red's turn. 3. Your turn. 3. Yellow pawn to 21. Red's turn. 1. Your turn. 4. Yellow pawn to 25. Red's turn. 3. Your turn. 1. Yellow pawn to 26. Red's turn. 6.
Oh,
Red pawn to board. 1. Red pawn to 28. Your turn. 3. Yellow pawn to 29. Red's turn. 2. Red pawn to 30. Your turn. 3. Yellow pawn to 32. Red's turn. 3. Red pawn to 33. Your turn. 3. Yellow pawn to 35. Red's turn. 3. Red pawn to 36. Your turn. 5. Yellow pawn to 40. Red's turn. 6. Red pawn to board. 5. Red pawn to 41. Your turn. 1. Yellow pawn to 41.
Got
Kick
him.
red pawn on 41 off board. Double tap with 2. Double tap with 2. Menu. Close. Button. Red player. Red player. Guess. Roll. Button. 3. Yellow pawn to 44. Red's turn. 2. Red pawn to 29. Your turn. 6. Yellow pawn to 50. 4. Yellow pawn moves to goal stairway step 3. Red's turn. 3. Red pawn to 32. Your turn. 1. Yellow pawn moves to goal stairway step 4. Red's turn. 6.
just give me one more one, maybe a 2.
Red pawn to board. 2. Red pawn to 34. Your turn. 5. No moves.
Nope.
Red's turn. 6. Red pawn to 40. 2. Red pawn to 29. Your turn. 5. No moves.
Nope.
Red's turn. 4. Red pawn to 33. Your turn. 3. No moves. Red's turn. 5.
Like 2. It's need a 2.
Red pawn to 38. Your turn. 1. Yellow pawn moves to goal stairway step 5. Red's turn.
Or
1. Red pawn to 39. Your turn. 5. No moves. Red's turn. 5. Red pawn to 44. Your turn. 6. No moves.
Nope.
Red's turn. 4.
If you're close to winning,
Red pawn to 44.
big numbers
Your
not
turn.
gonna do any good on
6. No moves. Red's
the last
turn.
piece. Give me a
3.
1.
Red pawn to 47. Your turn. 1. Yellow pawn moves to
Yes!
goal. Great game. Your turn.
Yes, yes, and yes.
First place, Jenna Gamer 3. Second place, guest underscore 77,191. Exit. Exit. Button. Double tap to select.
Alright, you guys, that is the end of the Game World video for today. only have time for one game because I have to get ready to go somewhere. So I will post the link in the description for Game World if you're interested in playing. I really recommend that you play Ludo Palooza to start with. And if you start with a 2-player mode, like I said, and then and when you feel ready enough, feel free to go to 4-player mode. And that uses all the colors, red, blue, green, and yellow. And like I said, feel free to subscribe and share the video. And thanks again for watching. Till next time, bye-bye.
Control center. Airplane mode. Blue. Head. Me. Preview. Play. Next track. Button. Screen mirroring. Bright. Volume. Focus. Flashlight. Timer. Camera. Music rec. Selected. Screen recording.